2016 Phillip Island Preview. Sadly, the race for the 2016 title is over, and I congratulate Marc Marquez on his third Premier Class championship. But the end of the story of 2016 has yet to be written. There will be controversy. Will Marquez torment Valentino Rossi during these last 3 rounds, in the hope of elevating homeboy Jorge Lorenzo? There will be paint trading in the turns. There will continue to be the races within the race that capture so many people's attention. There will be Danilo Petrucci versus Scott Redding. There will be crashes and runoffs and mistakes by guys operating at the outer limits of human endurance, testing the laws of physics that every turn. What's not to like? Recent history at Phillip Island. 2013, Lorenzo won comfortably over Dani Pedrosa, with Rossi, Cal Crutchlow and Alvaro Bautista on the satellite Gresini Honda gripped in a hair-raising battle for third that saw the veteran Rossi beat Crutchlow and his LCR Honda by 0.11 seconds while Crutchlow picked the Gresini pilot by 0.053. The blink of an eye. The race marked the first Australian Grand Prix in 7 years not to feature Casey Stoner at the top of the podium. Marquez took a cheap DQ win, fighting for the lead. He neglected to pit in time, as Bridgestone, who ordered a mandatory mid-race pit stop, struggled mightily to provide the teams with safe rubber up against a new, abrasive and untested racing surface. Even Race Direction was unable to keep Marquez out of the title in his rookie year. 2014, Marquez crashes out of a 4-second lead on lap 18 as his Bridgestone front seems to turn to ice. 23 riders start the race, 14 finish. Thus relieved of the pesky Catalan sophomore, Valentino Rossi led a trio of Yamaha M1s over the line, joined on the podium by Lorenzo and Premier Class podium virgin Bradley Smith, who whipped his Tech 3 Yamaha to his first Premier Class podium. However, none of it really mattered, as Marquez left down under ahead of chaser Lorenzo by 18 points on the way to his second World Championship. In case we've neglected to mention it in the past, Phillip Island is a Yamaha/Ducati kind of place. 2015, the Pramac Australian Motorcycle Grand Prix had something for everyone. Repsol Honda defending double world champion Marquez, in his season of discontent, laid down an historic last lap to steal the victory from compatriot Lorenzo. The Yamaha pilot trailed his teammate Rossi by 18 coming in and was blessed that day by a statement performance from factory Ducati then number 1 Andrea Iannone, who slipped past Rossi one more time on the final lap and onto the podium, trimming Rossi's lead over Lorenzo to 11 points. Heading for separate in round 17. What a difference a year made for Iannone. Just 12 months ago the fair-haired child of Ducati course, this year a refugee to a possibly apprehensive Suzuki operation. Such is the case with the brothers Espargaro. A competition which undoubtedly started when younger brother Phil was still in diapers continues today as older brother Aleix tries to keep up with little bro. At some point in the past, younger brother took the upper hand over big brother. Glad I wasn't there for that. Phil, on the satellite Yamaha, brings a 24-point lead over the fraternal factory Suzuki into round 16 and appears set to rub it into Aleix's face for the 4th year in a row. Last year, on the same equipment, Phil was +9. In 2014, Phil, still on the Tech 3 bike, with Aleix on the doomed forward racing Yamaha, put another 10 points on his sib. In 2013, one would say that Phil won the day again, taking the Moto2 championship, while Aleix, slugging it out in the Premier Class on terrible art hardware, claimed a decent 11th place finish. Advantage all. There's new digs for each next year. Paul finally gets his factory ride with KTM, while Aleix moves down to the Gresini factory Aprilia, not yet competitive in the post-D'Atlega era. The two bikes should be relatively competitive with each other, meaning that while the colors on the ladders may change, the appeal of an opportunity to give your brother a wet willy won't. MotoGP thrives on rivalries, even the friendlies. Your boy Kevin Schwann's, world champion in 1993 in the 500cc two-stroke era when men were men and women were glad of it, continues to milk notoriety from his reputation and is now approaching 23 years, more or less, of living off the fat. Journalists still seek his opinions on moto racing and he is always willing to share them. Bring the photographer. Anyway, over at somewithersight.com, Schwanz was asked about his impressions of Jack Miller, stating his belief the young Australian would become some kind of great rider in time. Assuming he still possesses all of his body parts when that time arrives. He also conceded that Marc Marquez impresses him, what with 3 MotoGP titles by age 23 and all. The domino effect engendered by the injury to factory Ducati rider the unknown continues in place this week, as Hector Barbera gets to wreck another brand new GP16 while Mike Jones takes his seat with the Alpine Ducati team. Barbera and Jones were the last 2 riders to finish at MotoGP, the Spaniard finishing outside the points due to an early mishap, whereas Jones finished a lap down but with his paint intact. I imagine the bosses would prefer the latter to the former. Lorenzo, Rossi and Marquez each won here recently. Rossi the beneficiary of Marquez's careless crash out of a 4-second lead in 2014. For the Maha teammates, they have attached blinders regarding whatever's up with Marquez and are dialed in on one another. Second place for the season and a load of machismo at stake. Just as last year, Rossi enjoys a narrow lead over Lorenzo with the latter wanting to arrive at Ducati in one piece but wanting to beat Rossi more. So, it will be a great battle this time out. Whatever happens thereafter we'll take. 2. Conditions at Phillip Island this weekend are expected to be rough, with a 100% chance of rain on Friday giving way to clear skies on Sunday. It'll be the temps and the wind which will take its toll on riders and lap times, as temps are expected below 60 degrees with cold northwest winds steady in the high teens, with stronger gusts. A perfect weekend for Marc Marquez to lay low but an imperfect setup for Lorenzo and Rossi, who must face off against one another in the teeth of the gale at perhaps the fastest track on the calendar. The hint of rain spells advantage Rossi. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.